It's 8:45. Israel's Prime Minister says he'll annex a third of the occupied West Bank if he keeps his job after elections next week. The leading Palestinian diplomat, Saab Erekat, says that will bury the chance of peace. Now, we heard earlier on the programme from the head of the Palestinian mission here in the UK. Let's hear now from Diker of the Jerusalem Centre for Public Affairs. Morning to you.
Morning to you.
First of all, could you explain to us in practical terms, what will it mean, given that the West Bank is occupied? What will it mean if these areas are annexed?
Let me be very clear about context here. The West Bank is disputed, according to international law, between two claimants, one Israel, the other, at this point, the Palestinians. Let's be very clear that Mr. Netanyahu's declaration about a future intention to annex about 600 square miles of the strategically vital West Bank has been a Labor Party defense policy since 1967, when Israel was almost wiped off the map by four of its Arab neighbors. Since that time, the Labor Party, and ultimately under Mr. Rabin, had said during the Oslo peace interim accords that Israel's security border would be the Jordan Valley in the broadest sense of that term. He said that to the entire parliament in 1995.
Just to be clear, then, are you saying that he is doing this, the Prime Minister, for strategic reasons to defend Israel, or are you saying he's doing it for political reasons ahead of an election in which he's in deep trouble and needs more votes?
Well, clearly we are less than 1 week before elections, so there would be clear assessments by political analysts, political party analysts, that he's doing it for electoral purposes. But my expertise is on the strategic side, and I can tell you that this is that what's called the Judean-Samarian Hill Ridge, that is 4,200 feet above sea level, protects Israel's major cities from terrorist and conventional attacks from the east.
OK, but there's a reason this has not been proposed before. As you say, it's been argued for many years, many decades indeed. One of the reasons is because the occupants of the White House would have said, oh, no, you don't. This will undermine the possibility of what's called the two-state solution, a negotiation leading, in other words, to the creation of a Palestinian state. Has Benjamin Netanyahu given up on that idea because he knows that Donald Trump has given up on that idea?
Well, I do think, in all fairness, is that notwithstanding the Palestinian leadership's declarations, they have given up on that idea for years. They said no to that idea to President Bush, to President Clinton. They said no to President Obama ultimately, and now they are saying they're actually boycotting President Trump.
But it ends it, doesn't it, Mr. Diker? Forgive me for interrupting, a little short of time. But it ends any possibility of reviving the two-state solution.
No, it does not. It does not. It offers Israel the strategically vital defensible borders in order to defend through annexing the 4,200-foot hill ridge and the Jordan Valley in the broadest sense against attacks from the east. It does not in any way abrogate or amortize or prevent the establishment of a Palestinian sovereign entity that would be demilitarized. But
One last thing, if I may. I was intrigued by something you wrote recently, that one thing Israelis want to avoid, you said, is being a sucker. We've made suckers out of ourselves for conceding too much to the Palestinians. What do you mean?
What I mean by that, and thank you for doing your due diligence on me, what we mean by that is that when Israel pulled out lock, stock, and barrel from the Gaza Strip in 2005, instead of receiving the promised peace from the Palestinians, we received thousands and thousands of rockets and mortars on Israel's kindergartens, synagogues, and cities.
Okay.
And Israelis are saying we are not going to bring the catastrophe of the Gaza Strip, missiles and rockets on Israel in the south, to Israel's major cities from Hamas and PLO terrorists in the West Bank.
We're going to leave it there, I'm afraid, Mr. Diker, but thank you very much. And just to stress, we did hear earlier in the programme from the head of the Palestinian mission here in the UK.